We ready? Start. I should like right at the beginning to say that I welcome the amendment which was proposed to the draft resolution by the Foreign Minister of the United Arab Republic. The amendment makes effective change, but I think it is a happier way of putting forward the idea contained in the resolution. When I had the privilege to put forward the resolution from 5 nations before this assembly, I expressed the hope that it would be accepted unanimously. It did not seem to me reasonably possible that any member of this assembly could object to the resolution. It was straightforward. It contained nothing in it against any individual or this group or that group, but it did represent a strong and passionate desire that things should get moving and that this assembly should not sit paralyzed as if it could not act. Therefore, it was with considerable surprise that I received the paper containing an amendment on behalf of Australia Para. I read it with care. I found some difficulty in understanding it, and the more I read it, the more surprised I was that any member of this assembly should have put this forward as an amendment. I venture to place before this assembly my reasons for this. First of all, it seemed to me quite patently that it had nothing to do by way of amending the proposition which we had put forward. It is not an amendment. I do not perhaps know the rules of this assembly, but it is not an amendment. It may be, of course, a separate resolution in some form or another, and might have been brought forward and considered by this House. If it was so considered, I would have had much to say about it and against it. The Prime Minister of Australia, in his speech, made it quite clear that it was not an amendment, although he might call it so. Therefore, I could not quite understand what meaning lay behind this amendment para. I have the greatest respect for the Prime Minister of Australia, more especially for his keen mind and ability. I wondered if that keen mind had not tried to cover up with a jumble of words something which had no meaning at all. I was particularly keen to listen to the Prime Minister of Australia in the hope that he might throw some light on this aspect. Stop.